Friends, I welcome you to our YouTube channel GST with Tax Marvel. I am CA Rohit Kumar Singh, founder of Tax Marvel Consulting Services LP. Today we are going to discuss a very important concept on offences and penalty under GST regime. So there are certain issues which may lead to levy of penalties. So there are certain offences on which penalty can be levied. There are certain offences on which penalty need not be levied, only interest will be levied. So we'll discuss in detail in this video what are those instances and how can we avoid those instances. So please don't forget to like and share our video and also subscribe to our channel. Chapter 19 of both CGST Act and rules. So chapter 19 of CGST Act 2017, chapter 19 of CGST rules 2017 deals with your offences and penalties. Generally, rules will always have a procedural impact. How and what? Act will have a effect of your providing the list of offences and penalty against it. Section 122 to section 138 deals with your offences and penalties. Rule 162 of the CGST Act rules with deals with your offences and penalties. Right. Now let us see. So section 122 says penalty for certain offences. Means if you do certain offences you have penalty to pay. Then 123 penalty for failure to furnish information return. Information return section 150 we'll see. Right. Next. Fine for failure to furnish statistics. So what government is saying, you have issued a note, they have received a notice and they are saying tell me the 10 questionnaires are there, you have to answer to 10. You said I will not reply to your, I am not liable to. So section 124. Section 125 general penalty. Section 126 discipline regarding penalty. What department should do when they will recover penalty, right? 27 power to impose penalty in certain cases. 28 power to waive penalty or fees or both, right? Very interesting one. GSTR 3B filing from July 17 to July 20. If you have nil return, you don't have to pay any late fee. If you have taxable return, maximum late fee is 500 rupees per tax period, issued under section 128. So it is very important for friends to understand under what section the notification is issued. So waiver of fees, see here late fees 128. So if your late fees is waived for GSTR 1 or GSTR 3B, section 120 is there, right? Next, detention, seizure or release of goods or conveyance in transit. E-way bill, your mismatch, e-way bill non-compliance, section 129. 130 again, e-way bill non-compliance, confiscation of goods or conveyance or and levy of penalty. Next, confiscation or penalty not to interfere with other punishment, means whatever punishment is there as per law will continue even if the penalty or confiscation is going on, right? Next, punishment for certain offences. 133 liability of officer and certain other person. What is the liability of director? What is the liability of partner? What is the liability of Karta in case of HUF? What is the liability of designated partner in case of LLP? Right? 134 cognizable offences or cognizance of offences. 135 presumption of culpable mental state. Very important to understand. We'll come to it. 136 relevancy of statement under certain circumstances. 137 offences by companies. And 138 important compounding of offences. So we'll see one by one, we'll see these provisions, right? What is an offense? Offense is a breach of law or rule, means illegal act. So what if in the act it is said that each and every month you will file GSTR 3B. So you have not filed GSTR 3B for 6 months. It means breach of law. Law said to file return. You did not file return, means you have committed an offense. Second, if you have committed an offense, what will happen? In certain cases, you will pay penalty. Right? Penalty means punishment. So interest and tax is not a punishment, it is a right of a government. Penalty is a punishment. So penalty is not defined under GST law, but penalty is a punishment imposed by law for committing an offense or failing to do something that was duty of the party to do. So part 2 if will say failing to do something. So as a customer I got a notice from department that whatever amount is to be payable to the taxpayer, I should deposit to the department because tax is amount is due and the person is not paying. But after getting the notice also, I paid to my customer. Sorry, I paid to my supplier. Sorry. So I paid to my supplier and I disregarded the notice. It means failing to do something which the duty of a party to do. I failed in my duty. I did not have any liability to pay the tax, but I failed in my duty. So penalty will be imposed. A penalty can be both corporeal or pecuniary, civil or criminal. Civil means amount, criminal means jail, imprisonment. Both corporeal and pecuniary penalty are applicable under GST. So what we'll see is in an interesting table, I have prepared the list of penalties. And if we'll go through this penalty, we'll say so many things unknowingly we are doing. Right, like number 1, fake or wrong invoices. Fake or wrong invoices. Number 1, supply of any goods or service without any invoice or issuing false invoice by taxpayer. It means someone has come to my godown. I said my printer is not working. Take the goods, I'll issue invoice later on. It's a practicality, no problem, it's okay. Department has caught hold of the conveyance and said there is no invoice on the vehicle, and they said you have committed a crime, this supply of any goods without an invoice. So you will say my printer is not working. Then the GST law says in case of supply of any goods, invoice should be issued on or before supply of the goods. It means law says section 31 tax invoice is to be issued on or before supply of goods. It means you have contravened a provision of law. Practically forget. Technically you have committed an offense. Right? Next. A customer has come to you and they said, I am willing to participate in a tender, but I am falling short of 50 lakh rupees of turnover. Can you issue me 50 lakh ka invoice? I'll pay you 3%. You said, oh, very nice. He'll pay everything and he'll pay 3% extra. But you have committed an offense issuing an invoice or bill of supply without supply of goods or service. It's an offense. Number 3, issuing any invoice using the GST number of another taxpayer means you are just issuing a invoice against a GST number of some other customer which you have not sold, right? So these 3 are your offense. Then fraud. Fraud means submission of false information while registering under GST. Example, you don't have a premise. What you have done is you have forged a letter or a wrong rent agreement and uploaded while taking registration. So false information. You are not partner in the firm, but you have represented yourself as a partner and taken a registration, right? Second, submission of false financial record or document or filing fake return to evade tax. Of now, what is fake return? My liability was 10,000 rupees and I declared 8,000 rupees. Will it be a fake return? Technically, yes. How will you prove that you made a bona fide mistake or a knowing mistake. So submission of wrong return is serious. And why I am taking more time here, you should understand the type of offenses under GST. Then, does not provide information or gives false information during proceeding. So department has issued a show cause and you are saying I will not reply to it. You are not replying, or you are giving incorrect reply, right? Then evasion of tax is also an offense. Evasion of tax, collection of GST but does not submit to government within 3 months. Now come here. My GSTR 3B due for 4 months. I don't have money. So out of 100 invoices, 70 I have received the money. Collection of GST means receive the money. I am committing an offense of evasion of tax. So if your GSTR 3B is not filed for 3 months, penalty is applicable. So don't only think you will pay tax and interest. Penalty is also inbuilt. Next, after collecting GST, not depositing to government within 3 months. It is an offense, right? Obtaining refund of CGST, HGST by fraud. It means I did not, but I have shown as export on paper and claimed refund, right? Next, avails and or utilizes ITC without actual receipt of goods or service. It means if I am issuing a fake invoice, I have done a crime. Similar way, because of my invoice, if the other party without receiving the goods has taken the input credit, it is also an offense. So both the parties are doing two offenses. The issuer is also doing an offense, recipient is also doing an offense. Deliberately suppress sales to evade tax. It means physical sales 10. In the return I am reporting 8. How will you know? I am going to an electric shop. I have purchased a fan and he did not issue an invoice to me. On a paper he is just writing 5 fan, take it. Department has gone in discreet mode to him and they have purchased a fan. To them also he has issued in paper. Department said give me GST bill. He said no, I will not issue GST bill, but you have collected GST. Or you are registered under GST and your goods are taxable. You are committing this offense. Deliberately suppressing sales to evade tax means you are not declaring your proper sales. Next, supply or transport of goods. Transport of goods without proper document. This is where all the transporters are saying issue me a e-way bill, whatever be the amount, means they are afraid. Next, transport of goods which is liable to confiscation means there is incorrect document, right? Third, destroy or tamper goods which have been seized means government has seized the goods and they have sealed your premises. Still you have sold the goods. So you have committed an offense. Other category. 1. I am making an export transaction. I am making sales through e-commerce entity. I am making interstate transaction. But I am not registered under GST. It means the threshold of 20 or 40 lakhs is not applicable to me. Still I am not taking registration. Offense. Not deducting TDS or deducting less amount of TDS. Offense. Not deducting TCS, e-commerce operators, or deducting less amount. Offense. I have taken a registration as ISD, but I am distributing or taking wrong credit. Offense. Right? Officer has come and he has said, hey, you go, I don't want to talk to you. I will not let you enter in the premises. So, obstructing an officer on duty is also an offense. Not maintaining all the books required by law is also an offense. So, you should at least know which books you have to maintain. So, if the time will permit, we'll see. Destruction of any evidence. So, department has come and you have torn your sales invoice and thrown it. Destruction of any evidence. All these are your offenses, right? Now, offense is fine. What is the penalty? What is the penalty now? See, delay in filing of GST return, simple. 100 rupees per day under CGST, 100 rupees per day under SGST, 200 rupees, maximum 5,000 rupees, right? IGST, there is no late fees. So, in case there is a delay in filing of return, in that case, there is a penalty, right? So, government time to time they will waive off. Non-filing of GST return, say 3 months and all, 10% of tax due or 10,000 rupees. Section 73 means not fraud and all. Now, if the fraud will come, fraud, misrepresentation or willful default, 100% of tax or 10,000 rupees will be taken as a penalty, higher of 100%. So, if your tax amount is 1 lakh rupees and you have committed a fraud, penalty will be 1 lakh rupees. So, 1 lakh rupees plus interest on 1 lakh plus 1 lakh rupees penalty. Assisting a person committing a fraud, it means you are telling your principal, okay, I'll help you. Let's issue invoice. Up to 25,000 rupees is the penalty, right? Non-issuing invoice. So whatever that person, the electronic good shop person did not issue invoice for sale of fan. So 100% of tax due or 10,000 is a penalty. So actual tax and interest government will take plus this amount also will take. Incorrect invoicing, 25,000 rupees. Incorrect means HSN number you have missed out, place of supply you have not. So incorrect invoicing means the particulars to be reported is not there. I am not talking about not issuing invoice, right? Not registering under GST. 100% of tax due or 10,000 rupees, whichever higher, is to be taken payment as penalty. It's a huge penalty, right? Opting of composition scheme. So I have opted for composition scheme, though I am not eligible to opt under composition scheme. What will happen? Demand and recovery, so the government will do. If it is in the case of fraud, 100% of tax due or 10,000 rupees, not involving fraud. So remember a threshold. If it is fraud, always 100% of tax or 10,000, whichever is higher. Not involving fraud, 10% and 10,000, whichever is higher. Wrongfully charging higher GST than prescribed. So if on my invoice GST rate is 5, I have charged 12. So 100% of tax due or 10,000 rupees will be liable. If I am claiming a lower GST rate, then government will ask for a differential amount to be paid. Now imprisonment. So if the tax amount involved in any of the crime or any of the offence is 1 crore to 2 crore, means 100 lakh to 200 lakh, jail term can be up to 1 year, right? Fine, in all the cases fine will be there. If it is not for 10 to 100, 10,000, 10% or 10,000, if it is for 100% of tax plus or 10,000 higher amount. So because there is 100 and 200 lakhs, anyway it is higher. So if the amount is 2 to 5 crores, means 200 lakhs to 500 lakhs, jail is up to 3 years, and over 5 crores, jail is up to 5 years. Jail means jail plus penalty, interest and tax will be applicable. Both, right? There are certain cases where only interest is applicable. The department will not ask for penalty. Number 1, incorrect tax payment. So we have already seen in the previous section of demand and recovery that in case I paid IGST instead of CGST, HGST, or CGST, HGST instead of IGST, I will not pay any penalty, but I will have to pay the correct amount of GST and I will have to refund the wrong type of GST paid. Interest will also not be applicable. If I pay incorrect filing of GSTR means my intention is not to defraud. Because of mistake there is a incorrect filing. 18% interest will be applicable on the tax amount. Now delay in payment of invoice to supplier, rule 39 reversal is there. So if I don't pay my supplier within 6 months, only interest is applicable your penalty is not there. Wrongfully charging a lower GST rate, 18% interest is applicable, penalty is not applicable. Right? Now, that was section 122. Now, section 123, 124, 125. Right? Failure to furnish information under section 150, 100 rupees per day, maximum 5,000 rupees. Right? Failure to furnish any information or return under section 151, 10,000 rupees fine, and if you continue for more number of days, 100 rupees per day, maximum 25,000 rupees. Now there is an offense which is not stated anywhere. You have committed a new type of offense. You have discovered or you have discovered a new type of offense which is not there in the books only. Penalty will be up to 25,000 relating to penalty. So it is said that no penalty for minor breach or mistake where the tax amount is less than 500, and such instances can be easily rectified. So the law provides in case where the tax involved is very minimum, that is less than 5,000 rupees, there should be no penalty so that the unnecessary litigation can be avoided. Also, there is a discipline regarding penalty, that penalty will not be imposed without issuing show cause notice or giving a personal hearing. So department cannot directly issue a show cause notice, issue an order or pass an order without issuing a show cause where the penalty is imposed. Right? Penalty also cannot be imposed by suo motu on contravention. So officer has to pass a detailed order for levying penalty. So explanation has to be provided by the officer before levying any penalty. Voluntary disclosure of non-payment of tax to the prescribed officer before examination conducted by him shall be considered a mitigating factor. So in case a hearing is going on or an audit is going on, and during audit only the taxpayer or the assessee himself is coming forward and telling him that I have not paid tax on account of these 10 invoices for outward supply, or I have wrongly claimed ITC which I knew later on, and the officer is disclosing himself. In that case, the disclosure by the taxpayer should be a factor or guiding factor to decide on a lower penalty, or is to be treated as a mitigating factor for not imposing penalty or imposing penalty at a lower rate. Right? Not applicable where the penalty is prescribed as a fixed sum or expressed as a fixed percent. So in case where the contravention provides a fixed penalty or a fixed percentage of penalty, that is your 10% of tax amount or 100% of tax amount, in that case this mitigating factor or all these issues will not be a hindering factor for imposing that fixed sum of penalty. Right? So where it is written that 5,000 rupees of penalty is there, so their department cannot reduce the penalty. In that case the entire 5,000 rupees will be treated as a penalty. In certain cases there are power issued to the department to impose penalty. Right? So person is liable to penalty when the proceedings under section 62, 63, 64, 73, 74, 129 or 30 is not covered, and the proper officer will issue an order. So order will levy penalty, and again what we have discussed is before levying penalty the officer will give a reasonable opportunity of being heard to the taxpayer. So taxpayer should be given an opportunity of being heard, and appearance before the officer either in person or in writing. He should submit his facts before the officer decides on imposing penalty. Right? In certain cases the government by notification waive part or full of any penalty under section 122, 123 or 125 under section 47. So there are certain instances where government on recommendation of the GST Council has waived late fee for delay in filing of GSTR 3B or delay in filing of GSTR 1 or any other return or any compliance. So in case there are certain issues where section 128 empowers government to waive in part or full any penalty or late fee also as per section 47. So the relief can be either given to all the taxpayers or can be given to the selected taxpayers. Right? right? So detention, seizure of goods or conveyance, section 129. So this is important, friends. Understand this section, very important, right? In case of e-way bill transactions, in case of e-way bill transactions, detention, seizure of goods and or conveyance. So goods can be detained. Detained means in the custody of department for certain period of time. Seize, full custody they will take. They will not part with the custody. Of goods or conveyance, both. Of goods or conveyance, both. Right? So what will happen is, just a second. So notice or order will be issued by a proper officer. Remember, friends, before any notice or order or any penalty, opportunity of being heard will always be provided to the person. Once you pay the penalty amount, proceeding will be dropped, nothing else. Failure to pay within 7 days shall initiate proceeding for confiscation, right? And if you are transporting potato, if you are transporting bread, if you are transporting milk, which will be perished before 7 days, then they will immediately do the action, means sale or whatever it is, right? Confiscation of goods or conveyance and levy of penalty, section 130. So applicable to any person, number one, to whom this confiscation of goods or conveyance will be applicable and penalty will be levied. Any person who supplies or receives goods with an intention to evade tax, with an intention to evade tax, does not account for the goods in which he is liable to pay tax, right? Third, supplies goods liable to tax without registration, right? Or contravening any provision of act or rules with an intention to evade tax. Intention means department has to prove that my intention was fraud, right? Using any conveyance as a mean of transport of carriage of goods, unless owner means transporter, proves that he did not know that it is used, the conveyance is used for fraud or illegal assignment. So officer will say, instead I am confiscating the goods, please pay 50,000 as penalty. So once you 50,000 pay 50,000, they will release the transport. In case of confiscation of goods, the fine will be market value of goods less tax chargeable. So whatever tax is there, that will be reduced from the market value. And fine and penalty shall not be less than the penalty levied for detention. So whatever penalty is levied for detention, it should not be less than whatever is for confiscation. In case of confiscation of conveyance, conveyance means lorry. So what they have done is they have detained the lorry. So they have taken the possession of the vehicle, lorry, car, whatever it is, which was used for transportation of goods, right? So option to pay fine equal to tax payable, that is number one. Number two, the owner will, in addition to tax, will be liable to penalty and charges also for the goods goods or conveyance, right? Again, opportunity of being heard will be given here, right? Title of the goods will pass on to the government. So title of the goods will not remain to you or the supplier, right? Officer can also take assistance from the police, and on satisfaction that confiscated goods are not required or after reasonable time within 3 months to pay fine, the officer may dispose the goods. Means you said okay, you keep it. Like I'll take an example. When the new these rules came for this road penalty and all on the illegal parking or speeding and all. So one cases, one lorry, the penalty was around 20 lakh rupees, and the lorry value is 12 lakh rupees. I'll say okay, I'll not take the lorry even. Why? Because the penalty is more than the value of the goods. In that case, if I don't go, department will dispose the goods as per their wish. right? Now prosecution and compounding. Understand one thing very clear. If you have committed a crime, paying the penalty or tax will not relieve you in certain cases. It means if you have done a fraud, 100 crore ka fake invoice that you issued, and you'll say no, I'll issue, I'll pay tax and interest and penalty. Still government will say no. Tax, interest, penalty is separate. Charges for fraud will be there as per your law, right? So confiscation or penalty will not prohibit infliction of any other punishment to which the person affected is liable. See how. So punishment of certain offences. Criminal proceeding and prosecution will be launched. Prosecution means arrest. Criminal proceeding and prosecution will be launched in case of number 1, supply of goods without issue of invoice. You are supplying goods without issue of invoice, criminal proceeding will be launched. Issue of bill without a supply, availment of wrong ITC without receiving the actual supply, collecting the tax but not paying or evading the tax to the government, fraudulently availing ITC or refund, falsification of books of accounts, obstructing an officer on duty, acquires or deals in goods liable to confiscation. Means goods are confiscated, but I purchased the goods even though I know that it is confiscated, right? Received or concerned services in contravention with any law, fails to supply or supplies false information. Again, this is a criminal offense. Destruction of evidence means I have set fire on the goods, destroyed the evidence, or attempts to commit or abets a commission of an offense. Abatement to commit an offense is also an offense. It means abatement means helping or assisting. In case I have done all these things, now apart from your interest, tax, penalty, criminal proceeding and prosecution will also be launched. So these are your serious offenses. These are your serious offenses, right? See here, punishment now. Section 132, punishment for certain offenses. We have already seen tax evaded or wrong ITC taken or utilized or refund wrongly taken. If the value is 1 crore or up to 2 crore, 1 year and with fine both. 2 crore to 5 crore, 3 year with fine, 5 crore and above, 5 crores, 5 years with fine, right? If the imprisonment is more than 6 months, the reasons is to be written specifically, right? All offenses are non-cognizable and bailable except evasion is more than 5 crores. So below 5 crores, I have a right to take the bail unless and until government believes that the bail should not be granted. But below 5 crores, government will not oppose any bail. As a matter of right, I'll get the bail, right? Second, commission or abetting any offense, 6 months or with fine or with both. Now, this provision was not there in the earlier law. So once I have committed a crime, fine, I went. Again I committed a crime. So second crime, this 1 crore limit will not be applicable. Even for 1 rupee of the offense, 5 years and with fine will be applicable. It means second time knowingly I am doing it, means I know that there is an offense and I am doing it. So there is no limit of 1 crore, 1 rupee, 5 years, minimum maximum imprisonment is 5 years, right? 5 years, right? And with fine, right? Liability of officer and certain other officials. Liability of officer and certain other officials, section 133. Person will be liable with if they will fully disclose any information. So now I am working under GSTN, right? Or I am working in department dealing with your data, and I have understood that tomorrow morning there is a raid that is going to get affected in a premises of a certain taxpayer, and I called him. Tomorrow morning, be careful, there is a raid. Then I am liable. So many movies which we have seen, that before the income tax raid only the person gets a call and then everything is distracted. Here if you'll see here, any person engaged in collection of statistics under section 151 or compilation or computerization, means computer operator also, right? Second, any officer of central tax having any access to information. So officer has got a letter to type, and when he's typing, he's saying, okay, the name of the officer SSC is there, and there's a chances of raid or any survey or any confiscation and all. If he's disclosing, willfully disclosing any information, or any person service on common portal, means Infosys, any employee of Infosys, even agent of the common portal, ASP or GSP. So if any information is disclosed for the following purpose, it is not punishable, right? For the purpose of prosecution, the court is saying, give me the detail of return filed, and GSTN is supplying information, then no offense, because court has said. Execution of duties, my commissioner has said, give me the detail for 5 SST. I have prepared and given it to you. That is my duty to provide information. Then in that case, I am not liable. A person shall not be prosecuted for any offence under this section in case he is a central government officer without the previous sanction of government. So that our constitution provides protection to government officers in case of any prosecution. So any government officer, if he or she is liable to get prosecuted, previous permission of central government is required. In case of non-government servant, commissioner's previous sanction is mandatory. So this is a mandatory precondition is there, right? Prosecution and compounding of offences. Section 134, 135, 136, 137. Cognizance of offences. So where will you file the case, or where will the government file the case? Courts inferior to magistrate of first class will not declare any judgment for any offence under CGST Act or SGST Act or IGST Act. So magistrate of first class is the minimum court for trial of any prosecution under this CGST, SGST or IGST Act or UTGST Act. Now, most important, presumption of culpable mental state. It means if I have done any offence, it is presumed that my intention was there to commit an offence, right? My intention is there to commit an offence. So the presumption will always be in the offence that I tried and I knew and I am doing a offence knowingly, right? If I am accused, I can prove that no, it was a bona fide mistake, I did not do it intentionally. So if you'll see, a normal law of jurisprudence is there that one who is making an allegation has to prove. Like if someone has committed a murder, right, the prosecution will prove that the person has committed a murder, agreed, and the proof should be beyond doubt. But in this case, department is saying that culpable mental state is present, but department is not proving. The assessee or the taxpayer has to prove that the fact is I was not in such mental state, right? Now when the court will accept this fact, when the court, it is proved beyond reasonable doubt. So what happens is, I'll tell you something. I'll take a short example. I was going somewhere and I took a lift in a lorry, and suddenly in the checkpost the lorry was caught and there was evasion of tax in that lorry, no document was there, and they have caught me also. And I am saying that I am not related anyway to this consignment. Department said no, no, you are also involved, and you tried to sell it. Now, when the matter went into court, the court has said, okay, oh no, no, CCTV camera is there. He just boarded the lorry here, and the driver also said, no, no, this person is not there. So, if I prove that I am not guilty, but department cannot say just because he was there in the lorry, he is guilty. Preponderance of probability means just because of probability he is there in the lorry, he is guilty, right? So, presumption of culpable mental state. And this is applicable even in your direct tax, indirect tax, or any tax laws. Next, relevancy of statement. So, if I make any statement before any officer, any statement signed by a person during the course of proceeding is relevant for proving the truth of a fact in any prosecution of an offence under this act. Means during the survey or search operation, I gave a statement, and later I am saying no, no, he took the statement. Department will use that statement against me in the court of law, right? So when it cannot be used, if the person is dead or cannot be found, incapable of providing evidence, means I am a 7-year-old child and he has just taken a sign. So below 18 I cannot give any statement. Restricted by adverse party, so other party is restricting him from issuing a statement, or presence of that person required. So there is a matter of 50,000 rupees in a court, and I am sitting in USA, and bringing me to India will cost me 5 lakh rupees. So presence of a person will require time or expense which is unreasonable. So court will say, why you want to bring that person from US for 50,000 rupees matter? So leave it. Or when a person making a statement is considered as witness, so I am saying, okay, I have committed a crime, but I can give information and I'll become a witness in the matter, means I'll help you to cracking the case. In that case, it is the statement will not be accepted. So statement will not be accepted, number one, if the person making the statement is dead or cannot be found, the person is incapable of providing an evidence, restricted by adverse party, presence will require extraordinary expenses or time, or I am on behalf of the government itself. Right. Next, offences by company. So what happens is ABC Limited has committed an offence of any GST. So offence committed by the company, section 137. Every person who at the time of offence being committed was responsible for the conduct of business is deemed to be guilty, means CFO, CEO, MD, whole-time director, accounts head, accountant, everyone is deemed as responsible. Proceedings shall be conducted accordingly, means everyone. If proved that an offence was committed with the consent of key managerial person on negligence, they shall also, who are key managerial person, they are defined under Companies Act. So, whole-time director, managing director, CFO, CEO, company secretary, or any person authorized by the board as a key managerial person is they shall be deemed as a guilty, right? Next, offence by partners. Again, partner, karta, managing trustee is deemed, right? But if they can prove that it was not known to them, then they are not guilty or liable. Now, compounding of offences. When can you not go for compounding? Compounding basically means I have committed a crime and I am willing to pay tax, interest and penalty, and I am accepting that I have made a mistake. Please give me a chance to make my mistake good and I will not repeat it again. So this compounding will not be allowed when, number one, earlier also I came to the tribunal and said, sir, compounding, I am ready to do compounding. Tribunal has accepted the compounding. Again I am coming. They said no, you will not allow compounding for the same offences again. Second, if I have already allowed compounding, right? And if the second compounding value is more than 1 crore, any offense which is not specified above, I will not be allowed for compounding, right? If I have committed a crime, like while the vehicle was getting caught, I hit the officer with a bottle and he is injured. This is a crime under your IPC, Indian Penal Code. So I can have a compounding under this tax law, but the criminal offense is already separate. So then the court will not accept compounding, right? Person is already convicted by the competent court, or the person is obstructing any officer, tampering any evidence, fails to supply information or supplying false information. In this case, compounding is not applicable. Compounding means simple. Once I pay tax, interest and penalty and the compounding is accepted, I am relieved of any criminal offense. Means I will not go to jail, right? General rules relating to compounding. Any other law, if I have made a crime, that law will continue, right? Compounding is only available after I make entire payment of tax, interest and penalty. Minimum compounding amount is 10,000 rupees or 50% of tax involved. It means indirectly I am saying I don't want to go to jail, help me compounding. Maximum compounding amount is 30,000 rupees or 150% of tax involved, right? Once the payment is made, no further proceeding will be initiated and the accused person shall stand abated. Means no further proceeding will be available, right? How the compounding will happen? Simple. Section 138. The application will be made to the commissioner in form GST CPD 01. The commissioner will ask the concerned officer to furnish relevant details from the department. He will ask. If the commissioner is satisfied, he will submit form GST CPD 02, right? And allow the application and ask the compounding amount to be paid and grant him immunity from prosecution under CGST Act, SGST Act, IGST Act or UTGST Act only. Or if he finds that the application is under those circumstances where the compound is not available, will reject the application within 90 days. Right? Procedure for compounding. After payment of tax and penalty and interest, only the compounding will be accepted, allowed. Compounding should be paid within 30 days from the receipt of order. I have to pay the amount. Failure to pay the compounding amount shall lead to order being void. Means the order will become void if I don't pay within 30 days and your prosecution will continue, right? If I have taken the compounding based on any wrong information or hidden any facts, then the immunity granted will be withdrawn. Friends, thank you for watching our video and we hope that you enjoyed this learning series GST with Tax Marvel. And don't forget to share, like and subscribe our videos, and do also tell your friends or colleagues who want to make their career in GST or want to get updated on GST aspects. Thank you friends. Thank you.